scratches, you have come to the right place. Welcome to Oakland for this AFC West matchup between the Denver Broncos and the Oakland Raiders. And what is this unusual sight? It's a sellout in Oakland, the first in the last 24 regular season games here. Couldn't come at a better time for the Raiders. The renewal of a storied rivalry that lately has leaned heavily in Denver's favor. The Broncos have claimed 9 of the last 10 meetings. Hi, everyone. Welcome to Oakland. Greg Gumbel along with Phil Simms. A couple of years ago, John Elway, the great quarterback, said goodbye in Denver. On comes young Brian Griese, and all the Broncos are doing, Phil, is scoring 39 points a game this young season.
What a difference a year makes for Brian Griese. We had a chance to talk to him the other day, and he said to us, I watched the film last year. He got his first win here in Oakland against the Raiders. He goes, I watched it, and I couldn't believe the decisions I was making, some of the throws. So he notices a difference, and he's been spectacular so far.
On the other side of the field is a quarterback who couldn't be more different in Rich Gannon, but all he does is get the job done.
Gets it done. He's not real pretty sometimes, not the prototype quarterback that everybody likes to see. But John Gruden said it best when he talked about his quarterback, and he meant it. He is the most competitive person on our football team. When you can say that about a quarterback, that's good for him, but it means a lot of good things for your football team.
Well, these Denver Broncos have won 9 of the last 10 meetings. They will have to go today without Terrell Davis, though, because Terrell Davis missed last week because of a turned ankle, and apparently that ankle not well enough to play today.
Well, it's probably the best thing when you're talking about a running back of his quality. If there's any question, keep him out of the game and wait till he gets completely healthy before he becomes a big factor with your team again.
The Denver Broncos have won the toss and have elected to receive, so they will get the football first. And it is an excited Oakland crowd. It's an excited Oakland head coach and John Gruden as well.
Well, he's always excited, so today is nothing different from any other day in John Gruden's life. And Mike Shanahan, I think he likes a little challenge himself, too.
Mike Shanahan, the former Raiders coach, left here in less than ideal circumstances.
And that's great, Greg. We always say that. For the first time, we've done a couple Denver Raider games. For the first, I can actually tell the rivalry is there. You can hear it with the community, the fans in the parking lot. You can sense it when you watch the TV on the local news.
Sebastian Janikowski set to kick it away. Oh, listen to this crowd. He slips as he gets the kickoff, and it's short, and the Broncos fall on it at the 30-yard line. Monte Rager fell on the football for the Broncos at the 30 as Janikowski comes off the field. Here's quarterback Brian Griese, the top-rated quarterback in the National Football League coming into this game. 3 touchdown passes and no interceptions against Atlanta.
The biggest thing I heard him say, he did an interview with Leslie Visser in the pregame show, is he says, now when I drop back as a quarterback, I look at the defense and not the offensive players. And of course, to be great as a quarterback, that's what you got to do. You got to see the defense.
He'll start throwing the football. Ed McCaffrey just short of the 35-yard line. And a look at the starting lineup for Denver up front. A terrific offensive line that paves the way for the best ground game in the AFC this young season.
Running back and wide receivers, the big thing, Mike Anderson starting. You got to keep your eye on Rod Smith today.
Dwayne Carswell is the tight end. Byron Chamberlain will not see action today. Anderson and Howard Griffith in the backfield on 2nd and 6. Griese to the far side has his man Rod Smith, and Rod Smith with first down yardage. Out of bounds close to the 45-yard line. The Oakland defense, the Raiders front 4 defensive end, Lance Johnstone, Oakland's early sack leader with 2 of them.
The linebackers for the Raiders, Greg Biekert plays every play of the game, something different in the NFL.
And the secondary has terrific corners in Woodson and Allen. Johnny Harris starts for Marquez Pope at strong safety. First down for John Gruden's Oakland Raiders. Or rather, for the Denver Broncos. John Gruden looking on at his defense. Anderson breaks tackles. Still breaking tackles and all the way to the Oakland 35-yard line before Anthony Dorsett can pull him down. It's a 20-yard gain.
Well, a little surprise today, Greg. We expected to see Terrell Davis, but you can see Mike Anderson. One thing that I talked to a couple of coaches around the league this week. One thing that all Denver running backs have in common, when they get the football in their hands, it's north and south, straight ahead, very aggressive, hard power running. And Mike Anderson, a big guy, he really fits the mold for him.
131 yards and 2 touchdowns in the win over the Atlanta Falcons last week in his first NFL start. He gets the handoff again. And more running room, left side, 25 to about the 23-yard line, and that'll be enough for another first down. 12-yard pickup before Johnny Harris made the stop.
Well, you look at this Denver offense, I think Rod Smith is going to be such a big key to this game today. But as you watch the running game, watch the Denver offensive linemen. They are extremely active. They get everybody caught inside. And then you got number 29, Howard Griffin, the fullback. Hey, he's there for one reason. That's to block people for the running game, and he does it very well.
First down for the Broncos. Griese has time, throws, sideline. It is caught and knocked out of bounds is Rod Smith. That's an 11-yard pickup and another first down.
Well, the Denver Broncos, I think this is their signature passing play. Griese going to fake to the left. Watch him come to the right. And here's the key. Watch the tight end. Carswell blocking. Look how long Brian Griese gets. That enables him to make a very difficult throw over William Thomas's head for the completion. The extra time, keeping the quarterback more protected. That's why they got a big first down that play.
Broncos are perfect in the red zone so far this season. Anderson breaking tackles down to the 5-yard line. Darrell Russell made the tackle. Boy, what a debut Mike Anderson made a week ago against the Atlanta Falcons. 31 carries for 131 yards.
And of course, the other thing I heard this week from these coaches I was talking to when I was asking about the Denver Broncos, what did I hear, Greg? They said, you know, we like that Mike Anderson. We liked him. We were going to get him, but Denver beat us to the punch. But I don't know. You got to ask what it is now. There's one thing in common with these Denver running backs. They're all running behind that offensive line that is lean, fast, and aggressive.
2nd and 3. Anderson to the 2-yard line. Something else these running backs have in common. And Mike Shanahan and his crew have had the magic touch. Terrell Davis was a 6th-round draft pick. Mike Anderson, a 6th-round draft pick. Last year, Olandis Gary, who was out this year because of injury, set a rookie rushing record for the Denver Broncos. He was a 4th-round pick. Mike Shanahan has done very well in the latter round.
That's right. And a lot of it's coaching, Greg. They bring them in here. They tell them what they got to do. And you either perform to that level or you're gone. But the big thing about this drive that's caught me off guard, Raiders, the emotion, the crowd, everything involved getting overpowered and moved around up front by the Denver offensive line.
Yeah, this drive has taken a little of the starch out of this Oakland home crowd. Griese hands to Anderson to the goal line. Did he get there? There's a penalty marker down.
Well, that's going to be holding. I think the back judge threw it. I'm not sure. I just saw the flag come.
It is holding. Our referee is Mike Carey.
Those.
Holding. Offense number 89. 10 yards. Repeat, first down.
That's tight end Dwayne Carswell. You know, this is tough going for any team. That crowd at the back of the Oakland end zone is awfully tough to deal with.
When you sit at home and you look at the Raiders on TV, you think, oh, that's the worst. They're overdo it. This and that. But we've been here enough, Craig. The crowd is for real. These guys that come and they're in that end zone, they dress up with all those outfits. They're noisy. They're very good to the players. I watch the players respond to them. I think they give the Raiders somewhat of an edge sometime here in this field.
That's Anderson in motion. 1st and goal now from the 12. Griese under the gun goes down. Brady Jackson with his first sack of the season.
Well, that's what you got to see from the Raiders. They're very good up front. Grady Jackson, number 90. When you get man blocking, going against Mark Schlereth, number 69, there's nobody in the backfield, nobody to double team you. No excuses. You can't tell the coach, well, coach, I was double teamed. Oh, they triple team me. You got to get it done.
Defensive coordinator Chuck Bresnahan. Anderson straight up the middle. Gets back to the 10. maybe to the 9 before he was knocked back. Anthony Dorsett and Tony Bryant in on the stop. It'll be 3rd and goal.
Greg, I was going to say earlier, 1st and goal for the 2-yard line. You get it down to about the 6-inch yard line, you think, and all of a sudden it's 1st and 12. I say it all the time, very, very difficult to score when you get so close, like the 10-yard line in the NFL. All the advantages go to the defense because they can back up and wait for you.
Griese to throw on 3rd and goal. Gonna roll. Directing traffic, throws into the end zone, caught, and touchdown. Ed McCaffrey, his first touchdown of the season.
Good illustration, that play, mobility by the quarterback. Mike Shanahan said about Brian Griese, no, he's not the fastest guy, but he knows when to run. That was a good time, and watch what happens. Ed McCaffrey comes down, he's covered, gonna pass the defender. Now he knows, he sees Griese. What a job. Stop, find the open spot, makes the catch, feet were inbounds. And a touchdown for the Broncos.
And here is kicker Joe Nedney, a former Oakland Raider who has come on to replace the injured Jason Elam.
He might kick this one out of the stadium. You know, he's got a little anger working here. So the fans up in the upper deck might be the first extra point you've ever seen up top. We're going to get a challenge, Greg, which took a long time. I'm sure Coach Gruden was waiting for a replay.
The ruling on the field was a touchdown. It's being challenged by Oakland.
Yeah, John Gruden would like to know for sure that those feet were inbound.
Well, we looked at it quick. Regular speed, it looks like it's a catch. Now remember, there's got to be something here that positively proves to you that this is an incorrect call. So let's watch it. Did he have possession as he went down? Look, you can sit here and you can say, oh, he moved a little, all these things. I do not see anything. Another good look from the back. Oh, nice shot. Both feet down.
You're right.
That's clean.
Is there enough there
There's
to
nothing.
change that call? No, there isn't.
Now, oh, good look. Toe down, and he knows where he's at.
You know, you take another look at that and you realize what a really terrific play Ed McCaffrey made.
Well, both parts, and that's always in a game, Greg. The coaches can't always draw it up. You got to ask the quarterback and receivers or running back to make plays, and that right there, that's making a play. This game looked like 3-0. I was to say, wait, what an advantage for the Raiders to stop them. But now they just make the play, and it really gives the Broncos a big lift.
Boy, there's a very, very good example of what Brian Griese was talking about when we spoke with him the other day. He said, well, what I like best is I like my decision-making a lot better. And Mike Shanahan likes it too.
It was great talking to these guys and hearing it. You know, we hear all the time, how many years does it take to become a pro quarterback? I don't know. Nobody knows. Sometimes it never happens for a lot of guys because they're no good. But Brian Griese, for him to say, to notice the big difference in himself from last year to this year, I think that is, that's eye-opening. And also Mike Shanahan did, what did he say about Brian? He goes, hey, this guy's going to be pretty good. So
for Ed McCaffrey, this snaps a pretty long scoring slump. That's his first touchdown in his last 9 games.
Well, the fact that Mike Carey is looking at this for quite a while, we better look at this again. Because so far today, I've seen some replays in the NFL, and I'm 0 for the day. Catch, foot, toe. I don't see the... Watch.
Don't see the evidence to turn it over.
Left leg is down. Yes, here comes the right leg, I should say. Left toe, complete. He has possession of the football.
I would think the question might be whether or not that right knee was down before the left foot hit inbounds. Anyway, Mike Carey has his decision.
Right knee down, then there's no question.
After reviewing the play, the ruling on the field stands. The receiver was in bounds when he caught the ball. Score is good. Oakland is charged with their first timeout.
Well, that's not, listen, to what we say, I think I did about 20 Denver Bronco games and always say the same thing. Can you stop the initial onslaught? You are going to see the week of Mike Shanahan sitting in that room, squinting his eyes, and all the evil things he can think to do to your defense. You see him in the first quarter. And so the Raiders go to the sideline. Can you adjust to what you see or what you saw and do better as the game goes on?
Oh, how big is that to score on the opening drive on foreign turf? Joe Nedney converts the extra point. And the Denver Broncos have come out on the strength of the touchdown pass. Griese to McCaffrey, and they lead at 7-0. 69 yards in 10 plays. This is nothing new to the Oakland Raiders, who were blitzed early on a week ago by the Indianapolis Colts and rebounded in the second half. They fall behind here 7-0.
So what are you trying to tell me? They're like going, oh, this is good. We're behind. We're used to this.
We're comfortable with this.
Yeah, okay.
Napoleon Kaufman and Calvin Branch are deep for the kick from Nedney. There's Kaufman. Bouncing. And Kaufman to the 20. Up the sideline and out of bounds close to the 40-yard line. Run out by Ray Crockett. So Rich Gannon will have terrific field position when the Raiders take the field down. Rich Gannon leads the Oakland Raiders out of the huddle. 1 touchdown pass, no interceptions, but 3 rushing touchdowns last week in the come-from-behind win over the Colts. First down from their own 37. And Gannon going to throw. Lost the football. Picked up by the Broncos. Trevor Price into the end zone for the touchdown.
Just overpowering by the defensive line by the Broncos. Just off the snap count. Kavika Pittman, number 95, gets through, gets his hand on Gannon's throwing arm, and then Trevor Price, one of the best athletes in the NFL playing defensive line, picks it up, and well, that must be a great feeling for a defensive lineman to score a touchdown like that.
28-yard return of the fumble. And Nedney to try his second extra point in a matter of seconds.
Well, the Raiders, Greg, to emphasize here, they really must be feeling good now, getting down 14-0, because last week it was 21-0. But the good thing is for them, they can deal with adversity. They did the first 2 games, so there's no reason to panic because you're down 14-0.
If you don't count the timeout for the review of the catch, the Broncos have scored 2 touchdowns in 19 seconds. And does it please John Gruden? I don't think so. For corporate images, the Goodyear blimp floating over today's game. The Eagle is one of 7 airships in the Goodyear blimp fleet. Kaufman and Branch are deep for the kick from Nedney. This is Kaufman. Going to run it out of the end zone. To the 10. The 15 up the sideline to about the 18-yard line. George Coghill knocked him out.
Look at the Raider offensive line. A lot of high draft picks and big size.
Tyrone Wheatley and John Ritchie in the backfield. Brown, Jett, and Dudley are Rich Gannon's receivers.
Well, Greg, you know, looking at the game today, the Denver Broncos, John Gruden said about their defense, he said the front 7, they are tremendous finishers. What he means by that? They're all athletes, good athletes. The defensive linemen, the linebackers can run. The problem is, you know, he thinks you can take advantage of the secondary. The question is, can you get time to do that?
Wheatley. Loose football. The Denver Broncos have recovered. Hey, you're right, John. This is unbelievable.
It is again. Let's take a look at the replay and just look at the line of scrimmage. The Raiders offensive line, it's big. They just get no penetration up the field. Look, everybody's there. Big hit. I couldn't see the number. And Eric Brown makes the recovery for the Broncos.
You know, we talked about what shock value it was for the Indianapolis Colts, the way they jumped on Oakland last week. This doesn't even begin to compare.
No, when you got all the emotion and a lot of things in your favor playing at home, and to come out like this there's got to be a shot.
Griese, rolling, throws, almost intercepted, and a penalty marker is down at the goal line. Charles Woodson and Ed McCaffrey were doing battle down there. And this looks like it'll be against the Raiders.
Sorry, Anthony Dorsett looked like he was grabbing on to Ed McCaffrey. Remember, when a quarterback leaves the pocket, the defensive backs don't know it. So when the receiver changes his direction, all of a sudden, a defensive back is going to panic, stick an arm out, and sometimes they grab.
Pass interference. Defense, number 24. Automatic. First down, the spot of the foul.
That's Woodson, the two-time Pro Bowler and 1998 Heisman Trophy winner.
You see right here, you're going to look good penetration by the Raiders defensive line. Griese comes out. Receivers change direction. We missed the pass interference. Charles Woodson's right there in front. Nope, I'm sorry, he's on the side. So it was him in the back.
So it's 1st and goal from the 5.
See, last week I took the week off, Greg. My eyes have gone bad.
I know, it's the first time I've ever seen anyone get a good riddance card from Indianapolis Hospital.
High maintenance, that's me.
1st and goal from the 5-yard line. Anderson. And he's going to lose about 4 on the play. Lance Johnstone with the penetration.
Well, to get to the Raider defense, when you talk about it today, we talked to Chuck Bresnahan, the defensive coordinator. And Greg, the start of the game illustrates it. Can you withstand the barrage from Mike Shanahan? What new wrinkles are they going to have? And I think he said it best. Whatever tendency the Broncos offense has, don't pay attention to it, because Mike Shanahan's going to break every single one of them when he comes to play the Raiders. And just about every single game he does that.
2nd and goal from the 8. Play clock winding down to 1. The give to Anderson. Anderson to about the 6. A gain of 2. It'll be 3rd and goal.
Well, you look at it, you almost got to say the Raiders, they're playing for the game right now. That's how big this is. 14-0, first quarter. You go down 21-0 against an offense like the Broncos, you know they're going to score somewhere along the line. It's almost impossible to come back. So you got to stiffen up and let it go.
Well, you could have said the same thing a week ago if you'd been around.
Well, I just had to take a week off to see how you do this without me. You know what I found out? You need me.
3rd and goal. Quick drop. Griese looking and now forced out of the pocket. Looks like the last time he threw a touchdown. This one he throws away. And that'll bring the field goal unit on.
Well, what a tremendous job of the Raider defensive backs. Linebacker Greg Beekert back in the end zone. Again, Griese under pressure, getting out of the pocket very easily and just creating problems for the Raiders defense.
These two teams, the only teams coming into the action today that didn't have a turnover. And the first 2 of the game by Oakland, first 2 of the season, cost them. 24-yard field goal attempt from Nedney. And that's perfect. 6:24 to play in the first. So far, it's all Denver. Welcome back to Oakland, where the Denver Broncos have shocked the Oakland Raiders. They've scored 17 points within a 2-minute, 21-second span and lead 17-0. Nedney to kick it away again to Kaufman and Calvin Branch. Napoleon Kaufman from the 6. And hit hard as he crossed the 25-yard line. 20-yard return, and let's go back to what has been the big difference in this game so far.
Well, defensive line pressure by the Broncos causes Rich Gannon to fumble and results in a touchdown. And then something you always see early in the games, Bill Romanowski with the big hit on Tyrone Wheatley causes the other fumble.
First 124 offensive plays, no turnovers, and just 2 offensive plays and 2 turnovers so far. Tough to get into a rhythm when you're a quarterback doing that. Ritchie and Wheatley in the backfield. Gannon to throw. Steps up, throws, has his man. That's first down. Tim Brown with his first reception of the day. We hear you folks in TV land saying, where's Armin? He's down on the sideline. Armin.
Thanks, Greg. You know, as you said, there's just absolutely no love lost between Mike Shanahan and the Oakland Raiders, particularly the fans. I was standing with them in the end zone before the game, and the fans were hurling all manner of invectives at him. I said, Mike, this is pretty terrible. He goes, it's not any worse than the last time. And as you remember, he told us he got hit in the back of the head with a battery before the game, and to protect himself from toppling over, had to grab the goalpost. Back to you.
Well, it's not funny. I don't mean to laugh, but I'm just questioning, didn't you learn something? Don't get in that end zone.
All kinds of time for Gannon. He throws far side and has his man. It is incomplete, however. James Jett out of bounds. One thing we've learned from watching Rich Gannon over the years, he will throw it from just about any angle you can possibly get rid of a football.
I think it's one of the big reasons, Greg, why he's been successful here as a Raider and his career when he's had success. The guy can throw it from any angle, off balance, and I honestly believe he might be better doing that than he would if you made him sit up, stand up, and just try to throw it normally down the field.
Andre Rison has come onto the field and is flanked to the lower part of your screen on 2nd and 10. Gannon under pressure, lost the football. Penalty markers are down. There's just all kinds of things happening on the field today. Keith Traylor and Bill Romanowski into the backfield in a hurry. Face mask against Denver.
Personal foul, major face mask, defense number 95. 15 yards from the dead ball spot, automatic.
That's Kavika Pittman.
But Greg, a couple things about this game. You know, as I watch that pass rush on Rich Gannon, he does such a good job of sliding around the pocket usually. We talked to Bill Romanowski. He says, hey, look, everybody else doesn't know how to play. We do. We are going to keep him in the pocket, stay in our lanes, and don't go crazy, make him beat us, throwing the football, and not moving around and making the plays that way with the passing game.
Here's Tyrone Wheatley to about the 46-yard line.
And again, I told you the Raiders, the key for them on offense today, protect the quarterback, of course, because Denver, what did Rich Gannon say? He was watching film, and he goes, I'm looking at stuff, and John Gruden, too. We couldn't even identify what the Broncos defense was trying to do. Everybody's walking around a lot of different fronts, and so it's confusing for the quarterback. For him, figure it out, get protection, and then try to make the plays down the field.
Gannon, pump fake. Looks to the far side. Wide open receiver is Jeremy Brigham. And Brigham inside the 30 for a first down. 19 yards on the play.
Well, the Raiders, no different from the Broncos. They come out and give a formation. The Broncos are not ready for it. And there is nobody covering the tight end Brigham on the outside. Rich Gannon finally finds him, gets a big gain out. But again, this is the Denver defense. It's like all or nothing when I watch it on film and watch games. They make spectacular plays, but they give up, I think, a lot of big plays down the field.
Double tight setup worked very well a week ago. And here's Tyrone Wheatley right up the middle inside the 20-yard line.
And I think I said that as I was talking to Rich Gannon the other day, his confusion. But I said, but Rich, that also gives you some play. He goes, oh, yeah, they're going to give you the opportunities to make the plays. The question is, do you make them and really make them count them to get scores?
Gannon just 2 out of 3, and in Indianapolis a week ago ran for 3 touchdowns. He said he didn't think he had run for 3 touchdowns in any football game at any level of his career.
It's hard to believe as good as he runs.
Coming around the near side and being bumped out of bounds is Wheatley.
Well,
Pickup of 8, excuse me.
No,
First down,
it's okay,
Bill.
Greg. One thing that always tells if you are physical enough and are you controlling the line of scrimmage, oh, nice block by Ricky Dudley down inside. Can your running backs get to the outside? To get to the outside in the NFL, you've got to sustain blocks. for a long time. So that play tells you there, that time, the Raiders physically were much better on that play.
Boy, as a head coach, you have to wonder, John Gruden, when a team comes out and punches you in the nose, as the Broncos have done to the Raiders, how are they going to react? And the Raiders have recovered very well. Down in the red zone, Gannon throws, end zone, touchdown! Tim Brown.
I'll tell you what, Greg, if you can't react well to adversity in the NFL, then you're not going to win football games, and you're not going to be a good football team.
76 career touchdowns. He is now tied with Fred Biletnikoff. And there's Fred. Oh, what a receiver he was. Janikowski. So Gannon leads the Raiders back downfield. Capping it off with the touchdown pass to Timmy Brown. There is the great Fred Biletnikoff.
Looks different without that mustache, doesn't he? He really does.
Tim Brown with career TD catch number 76. He and Biletnikoff now number 1 Raiders all time. Chris Cole to the 20. 25, 30, and across the 35 out to the 38-yard line. A terrific return by Chris Cole, the rookie out of Texas A&M, of 38 yards. And coming up on the NASDAQ.com halftime report, join Jim Nance, Mike Ditka, and Jerry Glanville for all the scores and highlights. The NASDAQ.com halftime report.
Now you see, Greg, we talked about games. It's good to have rivalries and all that tension. That's why I like Ditka and Glanville. I want to see some tension in there. I want them to start hating each other a little more. What do you think?
I think I'd like the Advil concession. Johnny Harris blitzing. Griese gets it away. Incomplete. Intended for Ed McCaffrey. Here's Timmy Brown on the sideline after his touchdown catch. And Fred Biletnikoff, way to go.
Yeah, you broke another one of my records. Chuck Bresnahan, a lot of interesting things we found out about this Raider defense, and we'll relay it to you as the game goes along. But it looks like they've caught up to the tempo of the Broncos offense.
Anderson across the 40 to about the 43-yard line.
And they've made a few adjustments to the formations, which are always different every single week by the Denver Broncos offense. This week, the new formation that I saw in practice the other day, and I saw a lot, Rod Smith lining up in the backfield and just going everywhere. And when he moves, they are trying to throw the football to Rod Smith.
Well, tempo is the all-important factor to Chuck Bresnahan. He says he wants his defense to dictate the tempo of the football game.
It's good. It's a nice thing to say. Hard to do when you're reacting and not just going after the quarterback.
Griese with time. Throws. Great catch by McCaffrey. 45, 40. Down the middle of the field and dragged down inside the 25-yard line. Charles Woodson caught him, but not until McCaffrey had picked up 35 yards.
Good example why big wide receivers in the National Football League, everybody wants them, and most teams have them. Eddie McCaffrey, the ball is high, and all the defenders are looking for the ball to go over Eddie McCaffrey's head, looking for a play. So they freeze. That's why when he catches it, there's nobody there to tackle him. They thought, hey, I thought that ball was over his head when Brian Griese let it go.
On first down, Travis McGriff in the lineup, but the handoff is instead Anderson to the 20-yard line. And Beekert is there for the stop, picked up a 2 on the play.
Again, we've talked about it, Greg. You just can't say it enough. The running backs for the Denver Broncos, the offensive line, it's like the old thing. Hey, the machine just keeps on going. Change the parts, but it just keeps going, and it really is, and I've always said this, coaching in the NFL, that's what makes the difference between winning and losing, and the Broncos are a big proof of that.
Carswell in motion, Griese to throw. Throws for Carswell out on the flat. It's complete inside the 15 to about the 14-yard line.
Carswell He's a pulling guard out there, so you got to be careful when he catches it.
Time about to wind down here in the first quarter, and that'll do it for the first 15 minutes. Mostly Denver, but the Raiders came back 17-7. The Broncos in the lead. We'll come back to Oakland for the start of the second quarter right after this. Back in Oakland along with Bill Sims and Armin Katsay and Greg Gumbel. The Denver Broncos looking at a 3rd and 1 from the Oakland 13-yard line. And so far, Broncos have been good in the red zone. Pitch. Oh, all kinds of running room. Left side, first down, inside the 5, and just out of bounds, short of the goal line.
Greg, we talked about key breakers, tendencies. This is one that really does it. When you look, the fullback goes right. You think there's no lead blocker for Mike Anderson. They pitch it to the other side. The Raiders defense has got to be thinking, ooh, that could be inside the pylon, yes. The Raiders have got to be thinking it's going to be a run right. They get crossed going the other way. Tony Jones is the lead blocker. That's why it was such a good run.
First and goal from the 1. 64 yards already for Mike Anderson. Griese throws, touchdown, Howard Griffin.
Well, that's a gimme. Anytime you got first and goal inside the 1, defense, sell all out. Play run, run, run. If the other team wants to throw it, then, you know, good for them. And Brian Griese, the receiver, wide open. Howard Griffin, nice catch.
Good hands.
Reagan Upshaw coming right at Griese, gives him a little hit. But Brian Griese will take that for a touchdown pass any day. Well, I'd like to have Mike Shanahan call my plays. Get inside the 1 and get a touchdown pass.
Nedney's kick is good. 14:27 to play in the first half. The Broncos come right back and get that touchdown back. 24-7. The Broncos in 3 possessions, a touchdown, a field goal, a touchdown, and you throw in the fumble return for a touchdown by Trevor Price. You would take that anytime, but if you can get that on the road, it is golden.
It is. Now, you know, after 3 weeks, you start to see trends in the NFL. And the trend I've picked up with the Broncos, their offense is really good. See how I'm on top of these things?
I see.
Okay.
Oakland Raiders trailed by the same 24-7 score a week ago. David Gunn from the 10. 25. And down to about the 28 or 29-yard line. And we'll take this opportunity to tell you about this call on CBS. Meet the men and women of Premier's Friday, October the 6th, right here on CBS.
You know, Greg, go back to that touchdown that Howard Griffith caught out of the backfield. That'll serve a purpose maybe later for the Broncos, because now if you get down in there again, what's the Raider defense going to think? Oh, run or pass, and it makes you sit on your heels a little, react instead of attacking, and that'll help the Broncos offense.
Napoleon Kaufman in the backfield. He's the man in motion behind Gannon, and Gannon throws it out here to Kaufman. Tucks it inside. A little room to run. Out to the 40-yard line, and that's a first down for the Raiders. Al Wilson, the middle linebacker, with the stop after a 12-yard pickup.
Very nice play by the Oakland Raiders. Throw it outside. You got Bill Romanowski one-on-one with Napoleon Kaufman. And if it's not for the field, this dirt infield, I see players slipping on it and not getting good traction. Napoleon Kaufman was probably cheated out of about 8 or 10 yards extra because he lost his footing.
Kaufman to the sideline. Wheatley in the backfield along with Ricky Dudley. Gannon on the run, and down he goes. Brought down by Al Wilson.
Boy, Al Wilson coming back, or playing this year. You could see what makes him, well, why he's playing. He can close and make the play in a hurry. It looks like Rich Gannon's going to have somewhere to run and watch 56 from the right. No, you don't. Now, Rich Gannon is mobile and fairly fast. So Al Wilson, linebackers for Denver, can run sideline to sideline.
Third sack of the afternoon for the Denver Broncos. Kaufman back in the lineup. Kaufman, 40, 45, midfield, off to the races. To the 20, the 15, inside the 5, loose football. And the officials say that that ball is down. It'll be first and goal for the Raiders, a 60-yard pickup.
Well, you think about, we got to get Napoleon Kaufman to the outside to throw.
Terrell Buckley made the stop down deep at the 2-yard line. And Napoleon Kaufman, with a quick opening play, just authored the longest offensive play of the Raiders this season. And now a timeout is called. Are we going to get a challenge? We are going to get a challenge. The red flag was out on the field.
I don't know if we'll get the challenge, Greg. I know they threw the flag out, but it was ruled down. The whistle blew the play dead. All you can challenge here is field position, and I don't think that's going to change. So watch what happens. Terrell Buckley showing wonderful speed. Down. Well, you're going to lose the challenge if you do it anyway, Mike. But because the official blew the whistle, the play is dead. The only thing you can challenge here is field position. And I look at Mike Carey talking to Mike Shanahan right now, and I think he's explaining that to him.
Possession cannot change on this play.
That's right. If I saw the official correctly, he blew it dead. Now see, Mike's going, why? You lose a timeout anyway. Napoleon Kaufman was down. Now the ground can cause a fumble, of course. We always hear it can't. It can cause a fumble, but not if you're pushed or pulled down.
Well, the runner is down by contact. It is not a reviewable play under the instant replay provision. Denver will be charged with a timeout.
Oh, and he still charges him with the timeout. I thought he would go over and explain it to. Uh-oh.
Well, before Mike Shanahan's
Well, I guess if you stop play, even though, see, Coach Shanahan, that's such an instantaneous thing that you got to make that decision. He did not realize the consequences here when he challenged it.
Well, the Raiders lost the timeout earlier in the half because they challenged.
Denver.
And now Denver has called a timeout. Well, Mike Shanahan just wondering exactly what's going on here as Terrell Buckley dragged Napoleon Kaufman down at the 2-yard line.
Clear contact makes the football pop out when he hits the ground.
And the conversation continues down below. So Denver charged with a timeout on that play, and as best we can figure out, each team has 2 timeouts remaining in this first half. First and goal from the 2. Wheatley and Ritchie in the backfield. Wheatley trying to turn the corner, and he can't get around. He's out of bounds. Al Wilson over there to make the play.
Al Wilson, Eric Brown, the safety, comes up and does a good job, makes Tyrone Wheatley take 2 more steps to the outside and keeps him from scoring. Penetration by the defensive line in the backfield. Trevor Price gets back there. Eric Brown misses the tackle, could have headed back to the 5-yard line. Al Wilson, showing his speed, gets over and stops him 2.5 yards short.
Second and goal. That's Brigham in motion. Gannon rolling, throws it down, and is going to run to the end zone. Did he get there? No. Short of the goal line. Jenkins and Brown coming up from their safety positions to make the stop on Gannon, who did that 3 times last week.
Well, most quarterbacks, when they panic, watch this. When you do this and you go outside, nice fake, got us all. They usually keep going outside, but Rich Gannon, one of the few that I've noticed ever, always has composure, pulls it back down and goes inside. Knee is down, he is short, it's a good call. Now, if you could hear the fans in the background moaning.
Third and goal. Wheatley, he didn't get there.
Oh. Now, I would say you go for it on 4th down, but that was, you lost a half a yard. John Gruden's going to kick the field goal. That is big.
Sebastian Janikowski comes onto the field.
What happens in this league, Greg, we see so many different things. Denver sent one of their backs right and pitched it left. When you have the lead back go to the right and the running back, defenses are too good now in the National Football League. You just can't overpower them most of the time to get that yard to score.
From 19 yards out, Janikowski converts the field goal. Janikowski now 2 out of 4 in the field goal department on the season. Gannon comes up short of a touchdown, 24-10. Wouldn't quite qualify as a defensive struggle here, but it is entertaining. 24-10 Broncos as Janikowski kicks it away. From the 7, it's Billy Miller. And Miller brought down just short of the 20-yard line. Eric Johnson with the tackle, and we go down to Armin Katayan. Armin.
Thanks, Greg. As you know, Chuck Bresnahan, the defensive coordinator for the Raiders, told us one of the real turning points last week. Despite getting down by virtually the same score, the defense never panicked. There was no finger pointing. They went to the sidelines, they looked at the pictures, they made the adjustments necessary to stay in the game. Well, the exact same thing happened. He brought Greg Biekert over. They went over the same things. We'll see if the results are similar. Back to you.
All right, Armin.
You know, I always watch, and I did it a little bit at the end of my career, the pictures they take. You bring them down, I got something out of it. But listen to Chuck Bresnahan and the players. They learned so much because of all the formation and movement by the other team that it does help them make adjustments during the game.
Griese throws incomplete, and number 21, Eric Allen, well, he was just surrounded by Ed McCaffrey, and the only place he was between the ball and McCaffrey. There's no way McCaffrey could reach it.
Yeah, watch this. You know, Eric Allen's going, let me have this dance, Eddie, because Ed McCaffrey cannot shake him. Watch this, going down the field, makes the move. Oh, and a nice job. Eric Allen turning around, looking for the football. If it's up, he has a chance to probably make a play on it.
6 Pro Bowls in Eric Allen's terrific career. On 2nd and 10, loose football, picked up by the Raiders. Reagan Upshaw with the recovery.
Well, turnovers usually happen because of pressure, getting out of position, things like that. But this is, oh, it slipped out of Brian Griese's hand. I thought it was a bad handoff. It just squirts out. Watch it. When he puts one hand on it, boing, there it goes. Now, sometimes in this league, the footballs, they're brand new. They can have a little film on them, and they can be hard to handle sometimes, and that could be the reason why it slipped out that time.
You know, whether you're watching from a booth or from the comfort of a hospital bed, I think you can see the similarities between this game and the one a week ago. Denver down early. Indianapolis came roaring back, and they now have a chance to score again. Wheatley nudges across the 10-yard line. Denver with the first turnover of the season for the Broncos.
A lot of these Raider fans are going, man, Kenny Stabler at quarterback, this would be like the old days. A lot of scoring, just excitement, and a full house. People in Oakland at home getting to watch this game. It's this can be a special setting for a football team here in Oakland. It's kind of a shame with all the circumstances. They haven't been able to get full crowds here, sell it out, show the people in Oakland the Raider game.
On 2nd and 7, Gannon throws, touchdown! Tim Brown with number 77 of his career. What a job of standing in and then side-arming the touchdown pass to Tim Brown. Well, they shared the record briefly, very briefly.
Nice play by Tim Brown, but an outstanding play. You said it, Greg. Rich Gannon hanging in there, falling backwards, and he whips it in there for the touchdown.
Janikowski's kick is good. Tim Brown with 2 touchdowns. Then we have a penalty marker on the field. And the Raiders are going to have to kick it again.
Let's watch a replay of the touchdown, Greg. Just watch Rich Gannon as he goes back. Hanging in there, he's leaning back. Oh, man, falling backwards. Completely sidearm and just makes a strong, accurate throw. And, you know, I'm surely not making fun of him. but it is a unique way to play quarterback in the National Football League.
Remember last year, Tim Brown told us sometimes he doesn't even see the ball come out of there because it comes outside on him.
That's right. And John Gruden says, I've built this offense basically now to fit his talents, and it really serves him well.
Janikowski. Sat back by the penalty. Doesn't matter. And on the sideline, Fred Biletnikoff going over to Tim Brown and saying, hey, you're the new record holder. Second span. Oakland has now scored 10 points in the last 62 seconds. Chris Cole, the deep man. This will be Cole from the 3 to the 20 and close to the 25-yard line. 21-yard return. To remind you, the Goodyear Tire and Rubber Company has dispatched its Carson, California-based blimp Eagle to provide these aerial pictures. Goodyear blimps have been appearing over sporting events since 1925. We thank you for being here, gentlemen.
Nice shot of the full house. I was watching the local news last night, and people were camping out, already cooking, getting ready for the game, so
24-17 Denver. The Broncos back to work on offense. The pitch for Anderson to the right side. Gets a nice block out there and is stood up at about the 25-yard line by Johnny Harris. Let's check in for our first update of the day with Jim Nance in New York. Jim.
All right, Greg, thank you. Early in this game at Kansas City, Elvis Grbac was picked. It was run back for a touchdown, but he gets it back here. Going to the rookie first-rounder Sylvester Morris. And the Chiefs are now down 3, second quarter. Let's go back to Greg and Phil.
All right, Jim. Big slingshot from Elvis Grbac on that touchdown pass. 2-yard pickup on the play. Second down and 8 for the Broncos. Quick pass batted in the air and caught by Rod Smith. That one had disaster written all over it for the Denver Broncos. Smith is there as the ball comes down.
what a reaction by Rod Smith. I'll tell you what, when a quarterback throws a screen or anything like this and it gets knocked up in the air, start running, because you got to make a tackle because it's going to get intercepted. Josh Taves, number 90, the offensive lineman, you got to get out and go into those guys a little before you try to cut them. Almost disaster for the Broncos.
3rd and 3. Griese. That one tipped again and falls incomplete this time. And now you see Darrell Russell and a fired-up Oakland defense. Armin Katayan was talking about Chuck Bresnahan earlier. His defense is coming around.
Well, this is something I don't think we see enough of in the National Football League. Defensive linemen, they're always so concerned with what? Getting the sack. When you read the short drop of the quarterback, get your hands up. Make it impossible for him to throw those short passes, and then get rid of a lot of those short passes by the offenses.
For the first time today, we see a punter on the field, Tom Ruin. Kicking to David Dunn is blocked. Into the end zone for the touchdown. Randy Jordan.
Bad snap by the Denver Broncos. The snap is a little wobbly. It's a little slow. Randy Jordan gets that extra second and gets back and blocks the punt. Remember, the Broncos, they lost their snapper last week. Trey Teague is out.
Glenn Cadrez filling in for him. Janikowski's kick is good. 7:48 to play. And things are looking good for these Oakland Raiders. 17 points in the last 2:37. Greg Gumbel, Phil Simms, Armin Katayan in Oakland, where there has been an incredible turnaround for the fortunes of the Oakland Raiders and the Denver Broncos. Janikowski's kick. Chris Cole from the 6-yard line. Breaking it outside, 25, 30, to the 31-yard line. Marquez poked at the tackle, and let's go back to the block punt.
Couple things. Watch the snap. Randy Jordan, number 28 on the end. He comes through. Oh, he just outruns him. But they use, that's not uncommon. Let the outside guy go sometimes. Oh, John Gruden, he's got to be excited. Anytime you see a special teams turnover, that is big. Usually a special teams turnover for a touchdown will be enough for your team to win the football game.
Anderson and Griffith in the backfield. First down, Broncos from 31. And Nat Lepsis appeared to move.
You know, Greg, I want to go back to that punt, though. It's going to be a 5-yard penalty against the...
Before the snap, false start, offense, number 78, 5 yards, still first down.
When you have a snapper, a new snapper, the other team knows it, so that gives them hope. And this league is so unkind because everything is so fine and close. So the snap is just a little bit off. It takes the punter a half a second longer to get rid of it. That's enough to allow the block and score a touchdown.
Trey Teague snapped for punts and place kicks. His injury has brought Cadrez in to snap for punts. And on place kicks, then Lepsis will be doing the center. Pick up a 5 on the play. It'll be 2nd and 10.
See, now the Broncos, they're trying to find a way to settle the game down. You know, they came out and they're just hitting you right, left, uppercut, everything. And now they're doing the opposite. Let's settle down, go back to some real routine plays that we have, and just get the Raiders team and crowd calm down so we can execute.
Once again, Terrell Davis not available to the Broncos today because of the sprained ankle. Mike Anderson has performed admirably. Shovel pass inside, across the 30 to about the 33-yard line. Anderson is brought down by Greg Beaker.
Well, the shovel pass, deception, that's what this is about. Try to get them think, hey, I'm going to throw it outside. No, I'm not. I'm going to pitch it inside. But a good job by Greg Beaker. Never fooled. He has the running back man-to-man, never leaves him.
Everyone on the Raiders giving the credit to Greg Beaker for last week's comeback because he was calling the signals out on the field that helped bring that Indianapolis offense to a halt in the second half. 3rd and 8. Griese throws far side, McCaffrey, and he's not going to get the first down. Charles Woodson and Elijah Alexander converge, and the penalty marker goes down.
Now, this could be a personal foul for a late hit. But, you know, Eddie McCaffrey was still up. Well, not anymore. He's down on the ground as I look over there. Eddie McCaffrey was being held up by the defense. I couldn't see who came in and got that last hit.
Well, this is going to wipe out a defensive stand.
Watch what happens. Woodson.
Appears to be on Johnny Harris, the 3rd man in. Woodson and Alexander were there for the initial contact, and then along came Johnny Harris.
Well, I thought, well, maybe, here's Johnny Harris in the back. Maybe it's a blow with the helmet. I'm thinking that might be it. But it isn't. Look, Eddie's still up. They almost teach that in the league. Get them. If you got them under control, somebody come in and clean it up. Maybe cause a fumble. The play looked clean to me.
It didn't look like he led with his helmet, Phil. It looked more like his right shoulder.
Oh, he did. No, they're just calling this a late hit. He is not down. So that's going to happen. Greg, I say this to you all the time when these flags are thrown. They're going to err on the side of safety. So when in doubt, they're going to throw the flag when it comes to personal foul penalties. But I don't think that was the correct call that time.
Travis McGriff is into the game for McCaffrey, and Anderson fights his way across the 45 to about the 43-yard line. A pickup of 5. It'll be 2nd and 5. The clock continues to move as we come up on 5.5 to play in the first half.
You know, as we look at this game, you see Ed McCaffrey on the sideline. Probably just shook up. But John Gruden said something interesting. He said this league is something. When you get it going your way, he goes, things really come in bunches for you. You know, just that momentum, you feel good, and you just make plays on both sides of the ball. And that's what's happened to the Raiders here in the last few minutes.
again. And that'll be a first down for the Broncos as they move the ball and the clock. 48 points here in the first half.
You get that first down because of the call. Look at John. Hey, look, he's still tore up over that call. I know he is.
You know, it's an amazing thing for John Gruden, though, where falling behind early is not really a problem. In fact, it's almost desirable for him.
Well, they react well to it. That's the sign of a team that's maturing, understands what it's about. They don't panic, they don't overplay, and they don't commit stupid penalties to put themselves in tough positions.
Anderson goes nowhere, and the big stop by Darrell Russell. Now, Darrell Russell at 6'5" and about 320. This could stretch your neck out to another shirt size.
Well, just a good job of Darrell Russell coming off the block. And Greg, another guy, Darrell Russell, one of the best interior defensive linemen in the National Football League. The question is, with him, it's not talent. The question is, how many plays are you going to play all out in this football game today? When he decides to turn it on and be a factor, he is a factor. Mike Shanahan even agreed. When he plays all out, it's hard to block him.
2nd and 12. Griese steps up, gets rid of it, in the air, incomplete, intended for Rod Smith, and there were about 5 Oakland Raider defenders around him.
And there were 2 big ones by Brian Griese. Reagan Upshaw and Darrell Russell, 2 good pass rushers. Watch this. There's the big guy. Oh, and he's going to fall over the other one. Okay, and then look at the pack of Raiders around this football. Boy, Rod Smith, nice job. He went up, but still he tried to protect himself somewhat because he knew there was too many Raiders around him.
And now another big play for the Raider defense. 3rd and 12. McCaffrey is back in the lineup. Deep drop for Griese. Throws far side, complete to Dwayne Cardwell, and he's short of the first down.
Could be a territory where you think about going for it on 4th down here, or you take a 47-yard field goal from the dirt.
Mike Shanahan examining his options. He's looking at a 4th and 2.
I'd say he goes for it.
Exactly what he's going to do.
He's going to take the timeout, think about it, look at that play sheet, and come up with that one that picks up 3rd downs and short.
The Broncos use their 2nd timeout of this half. Big play when we come back. Stadium here in Oakland. First time in 24 regular season games, and they absolutely love it here in Oakland.
I feel the difference, really I do. Being here, sold out. I know it's the Broncos too, and everybody hates the Broncos out here in Oakland, but it makes a difference, and that's part of the reason it gives players emotion. That's why the Raiders can come back from such a horrible start.
Al Davis looks on. You saw the blood on Brian Griese's uniform. The bad news is it's his own. From a cut on the cheek. 4th and 2. Griese going to go for the end zone. To Rod Smith, it is incomplete and almost intercepted by Eric Allen.
Eric Allen's been a tremendous pickup for the Oakland Raiders, and he is doing a terrific job today. No chance right here. Look at this. He's the receiver, and he's going up. He's not going up to defend that pass. He wants the interception. And I think the Denver Broncos are thinking, hey, it's 4th and short. They're going to throw something short. Let's go deep and surprise them. Eric Allen, he's seen it all.
Although as far as field position goes, it's better off for the Raiders that Eric Allen doesn't intercept that football.
Hey, you know what? Eric Allen don't care about those 10 yards.
It's numbers.
I want that pick. Those are hard to come by in this league, so what a terrific play on 4th down.
First down for the Raiders from their own 30-yard line. Big blitz pass is incomplete over the middle. Trevor Bryce right up the middle, and now a late flag.
That's a good call. That ball is strictly thrown to avoid a sack. You've got to throw intentional grounding. Anytime the quarterback throws the football to avoid a sack. In some instances, it doesn't matter if he even gets close to a receiver. That is intentional grounding.
There was no foul for intentional grounding. Number 26 was in the vicinity. Second down.
One of the officials came running in and told Mike Carey that someone was there.
Well, excuse me. Watch Napoleon Kaufman. There he is. Yeah, he's there. Okay. Well, I was going to say what a good call, because Mike Carey, I watched him. He looks at it. Now, Rich Gannon did what there? He threw that football away to avoid the sack. And that receiver had no chance, but so it is.
Wheatley is back in the lineup. Gannon slides, throws. Wheatley out of the backfield. First down. Out to about the 46-yard line. Terrell Buckley ran him out of bounds after a 16-yard pickup.
We talked earlier, Greg. Rich Gannon said, what did he say? The Broncos defense does a lot of things. And that can be good because you create havoc. It's chaos. But also what it does is sometimes it creates confusion for the defense. And that's a good example. Tyrone Wheatley, there's nobody within 15 yards around him. You give up an easy throw and catch and a big first down.
2:40 to play in the first half. Gannon, pump fake, and pushes it out to Wheatley. Wheatley about a yard on the play, maybe. Rich Gannon, shot putter.
Yeah. Well, he's got the whole bag of tricks, that's for sure. Throws up in this, first option pass of the day, a little push. It's nice. It's effective.
I'll make a 2-yard loss on the play, and it'll be 2nd and 12 when we come back after the 2-minute warning. 24-24 here in Oakland. Coming up on the NASDAQ.com halftime report, join Jim Nantz, Mike Ditka, and Jerry Glanville for all the scores and highlights. It's the NASDAQ.com halftime report 2 minutes from now. John Gruden looking at the plays on the sideline. Napoleon Kaufman in the backfield behind Gannon. Oakland has 2 timeouts remaining. The pitch for Kaufman. Pulled down in the backfield. Number 95, Kavika Pittman.
Well, what a play by Kavika Pittman. Mike Shanahan, another big, tall defensive lineman. Athletic, number 95. Look at him to the left of your screen. Gets up the field and just makes the play. He just fits in perfectly with what the Denver Broncos like to do on defense. Run, get upfield, as we said, create some havoc and make plays in the backfield.
Pittman spent 4 years in Dallas. This is his first signed as a free agent here in Denver. 3rd and 19. Gannon down the sideline. Complete and out of bounds. No. Incomplete. James Jett. And that is the 2nd time today that James Jett hasn't been able to make the catch inbounds.
Well, that was a well-designed play. They got the perfect coverage to stop this one. It never gets down because of the hit. It's not reviewable, even though he's hit out of bounds because that must be called by the official on the sideline. But they take advantage of Terrell Buckley there. Do you see him come flying up, trying to take away a short pass? That enabled Jett to get behind him.
So now Shane Leckler with his first punt today. Fair catch at the 17-yard line by Delta O'Neal. And we want to remind you to log on to NFL.com. Follow the performance of your favorite players with the NFL.com player tracker.
Ooh, I need a halftime break. Yes. I'm a little out of shape. Missed last week. And this game, it's been terrific. I know the turnovers make it sloppy somewhat, but you can feel the tension. And it's starting to, the game's getting a little chippy. The players, they know what's at stake here. The Raiders, I know they know, 2-0. And it's the 3rd game of the year in the National Football League, and you're already trying to get position for the playoffs. 3-0 to Denver, 1-2 if they win. That's huge. That gives you a chance to make some mistakes and still be able to overcome it as the season goes along.
1:03 remaining here in the first half. And Anderson straight ahead and not much there. May have lost one or two. Darrell Russell and William Thomas. Lost 2 on the play, second and 12. Oakland, 2 fumbles have turned into 10 Denver points. Denver, 1 fumble, have 1 punt blocked, 14 Raider points. Clock continues to move as we come up on a half minute to play. Well, Phil, on behalf of the crew, all the crew wants to welcome you back to work.
Well, thanks, Craig. I'm still waiting for my get well card from you, but that's all right.
It's that medicinal smell that you can't deal with.
You don't know how much you miss work until you're not doing it.
That'll be the last play of the first half. And what a first half it has been. The Broncos led 17-7 after the first quarter. The Raiders outscored the Broncos 17-7 in the second quarter. Let's go to Armin Katayan.
John, 24-7. Looks like this team at the age of 35 is looking to make you kind of an old man here.
I love football, don't you? I love it. It's a big game. We're tied up. We knew it was going to be this type of day.
All right, John. Thank you.
All right, Armin, our halftime score, 24-24. Coming up, we'll be sending you to New York for the NASDAQ.com halftime report. We saw 48 points scored in 15 minutes, 27 seconds. Jim, Mike Ditka, Jerry Glanville with all the scores and highlights coming your way after these messages from your local station.
Why the Raiders are 2-0. On the other side, Mike Shanahan, he's really an X&O guy. So we watched practice on Friday out in Denver. I know there's a lot of little wrinkles still left in that bag of tricks, and I think we're going to see some of them in the second half.
Yeah, I know that the Denver Broncos are coming off of a huge game a week ago, and the Oakland Raiders have 2 comeback victories to their credit so far, although entirely different kinds of games. The tight one against San Diego, and then the free-scoring one against Indianapolis.
You know, what I like about this game so much as I watch it unfold, and the teams and the coaches, I think they realize the significance of it. Of course they do realize it, but I think they know that these battles they're going to have between each other could decide who's going to win their division, who gets a better spot in the playoffs, things like that. So, 3rd game of the year, for all that to be right now, I think it creates the tension and makes for a better game.
Well, I did ask John Gruden, if he is going to be a force in the AFC West this year, and if he really wants to show that the Oakland Raiders are back and are going to mean something this year, he really needs to win this game.
Greg, you want to go to the playoffs, beat the teams in your division. That's always the key for every team before the start of the year.
David Dunn to the 20. Across the 25 to about the 27-yard line, and we check in with Armin Katayan. Armin.
Thanks, Greg. Phil, you were talking about X's and O's for Mike Shanahan. That's exactly what he said. After that kind of heated first half, I told my guys just to stay cool and calm. We got to make some plays. We got to take it easy, get a few first downs, and try to win this thing in the second half, obviously. Back to you.
Okay, Armin. A look at the numbers, Griese and Gannon. And by the way, during the timeout, Armin confirms it's a bit warm down there on the field today.
Well, the rain's been falling for many weeks, so it's good to see the sun on Armin Katayan on the sidelines. Tired of hearing him complain.
Quick pass to this side and out of bounds is Tim Brown on the reception.
You know, Greg, the QB comparison we just looked at, both of these teams, both of these coaches, these quarterbacks are always going to put up good numbers, or pretty good numbers, even on a bad day, because the systems are designed around the quarterbacks having success. So Rich Gannon's always going to hit a high percentage, and Brian Griese's going to have chances to make plays.
2nd and 7. Kaufman, 42-yard line, the first down. Same kind of play, it appeared, the one that he busted open for the long gainer in the first half.
Yeah, Napoleon Kaufman, just because he's not a big running back doesn't mean he can't go up inside. Look at that. He gets in the secondary, and finally, Al Wilson's the first guy that really lays a hand on him. Good blocking up inside. Mo Collins, Barrett Robbins doing a good job and sealing off the backside. Matt Stinscomb does a good job, too. So Napoleon Kaufman, he's fast enough. Just give him a little bit of a crease. He can get through there without taking a big hit.
Kaufman again. Behind blocking. Midfield to the 48, maybe the 47-yard line. Tanavasa and Crockett on the tackle after a 12-yard pickup.
Now that was a nice looking play. Look at this. Fake to the left, counters to the right. James Jett, Tim Brown, both coming down inside, leading the counter play. Look at Napoleon Cott. Watch his eyes. He knows, oh, I got a chance. This can be big. And it just doesn't quite unfold the way he was hoping. He was trying to come inside, get Ray Crockett commit inside, and then go around him for a long game.
James Jett had two guys in front of him, didn't block either one. Wheatley. And Wheatley stood up at the line of scrimmage by Bill Romanowski.
You know, too, Greg, as we came into the game today, the Broncos, they have high hopes for their football team. Playoffs, they're thinking Super Bowl. Mike Shanahan said, why not us? We're as good as anybody out there. And as I look at the team, I don't know. You know, how can you win a majority of your games when your defense just gives up a lot of big plays, running and passing? You know, you've got to really count on something. They just give up too many big plays for me.
4 wide receivers for Gannon. Has time, throws, has his man. Penalty marker is down. Tim Brown inside the 35-yard line, but now let's check the flag. It's going to be against Denver.
Nice. That was a good job that time by Rich Gannon.
Holding, defense number 39. The play resulted in the first down. Penalty is declined.
That's Ray Crockett.
1st and 10.
This is a good job. Watch Rich Gannon. He looks out to the left, and it's the whole time, really. But there's the tight end. Dudley's open short, but he can see the play is going to develop. Oh, that's a nice shot. The umpire came, he's going, hey, nice throw, Rich. But he waits to let Tim Brown open up deeper down the field and takes advantage of the defense and gets the bigger play.
Tim Brown now 5 catches for 51 yards and 2 touchdowns. Back to the ground, Tyrone Wheatley to the 30 and no more. It'll be 2nd and 9.
Now John Mobley coming off of surgery of last year. Got ump cam, that's what we call it, I guess, again. 51, oh, nice shot. And good job. Doesn't overcommit inside. That's not his responsibility. When the runner cuts back, he goes with him and makes a nice tackle.
John Mobley in his 5th year out of Kutztown. The #1 draft pick back in 1996.
Active, I'm sorry, Greg. Active is not quite the word for him. He's better than that.
Gannon, pump fake, now goes this side, has his man. Tim Brown inside the 10, it'll be 1st and goal. What did we say at the very beginning of the day? Rich Gannon may not be pretty, but boy, does he get the job done.
I don't know, he's looking pretty sexy to me right now because he is doing a tremendous job. Good job, Ray Crockett, holding on to Tim Brown, but really the play is made. Tim Brown's little move creates separation, but Rich Gannon goes from one side to the other. Oh, look at that catch. Fingertips, almost comes out. Oh, well, he's done that a few times. He knows how to react to pressure and adversity himself.
From the 6, 1st and goal, Wheatley barely makes it back to the line of scrimmage. Mobley and Monte Rager get stopped.
You know, Greg, you talked about Rich Gannon. Yeah, it's John Gruden. We had a nice conversation about Rich Gannon. I think there's so many things you can say that are positive about him. Gruden said the competitor. The other thing that caught me, he says, hey, we just had to go out and just get a key made for this guy because they don't open the complex till about 7 a.m. or 7:30. And Rich Gannon was always like throwing rocks on the window. Somebody let me in who's in there. So
they're a lot alike. They're almost exactly alike. Gannon to throw over the middle. Intercepted. John Mobley going to run it out. And back to the original line of scrimmage at about the 6 or 7 yard line. And the Broncos put the clamps on Gannon and the Raiders in the red zone.
Rich Gannon's confused this time. He looks outside. He never sees John Mobley, throws inside. Easy interception for the Denver Broncos defense.
Beautiful day in the Bay Area. That 9-play, 67-yard drive wasn't so beautiful the way it ended for the Raiders. Griese gonna throw. McCaffrey out at the 12, 13-yard line. A 6-yard pickup, and let's go back to the interception.
Watch Rich Gannon's eyes. He looks way to the right. He's going to throw out there. Now the corner of his eye, His left eye, he sees the secondary receiver coming over the middle. He turns to throw all in the same motion, well schooled, but as he's letting it go, he goes, oh no. John Mobley's underneath it. That's why when you throw in the end zone, a lot of times, throw it high, because sometimes you can't see the clutter inside.
Anderson to about the 15-yard line. Grady Jackson, Greg Biekert with the stop after a 2-yard pickup. It'll be 3rd and 2.
Interesting thing going on up front today, too, which I was really wanting to watch and kind of focus on, but it's been hard to with so much action. The smaller offensive line of the Denver Broncos and what they believe in and how to run an offense against the defensive front that's big and physical. Who's going to win out in that war? And physically, over the course of the game, the Raiders, I think, are winning a lot of the individual battles up front right now.
Double tight end. Quick drop, passes out here, complete, and that's a first down out close to the 20-yard line to Desmond Clark.
Well, just a good play call. Raiders trying to apply pressure. Again, the Broncos ready for it. Block everybody up, and it lets Desmond Clark, the tight end, get singled up outside. Good throw and catch.
Talking with Mike Shanahan, he had some decisions to make about his tight end position. He says he's got 3 pretty good ones in Dwayne Carswell, Desmond Clark, and Byron Chamberlain, who is not playing because of a hamstring today. Big open up the middle. Anderson, 35-40, 43-yard line. 23-yard pickup.
Well, the Broncos, one thing they like to do, run it up inside. Watch Darrell Russell, 96. He's up. He's trying to come down the line. They push him. They cut behind it. Nice job by Mike Anderson. Seeing the defense, you just kind of feel the hole. He sees a defensive lineman getting pushed. Run where he was. Nice seal off by the outside, but the tight end created the big hole.
103 yards on the day for Mike Anderson. Griese goes down at the 36-yard line. Grady Jackson.
Well, that's a nice job. Pressure from the outside. Brian Griese steps up, but you always want your interior defensive lineman to stay in the middle. Don't go crazy getting up the field for the quarterback, so when he steps up, you're there to make the play.
Second sack of the day, and both by Grady Jackson for the Oakland Raiders. It'll be 2nd and 16. Mike Anderson, second straight week of 100-plus yards rushing. Griese with time, wide open at midfield is Desmond Clark, and Clark appears to have enough for a first down.
Greg, you talked about the Broncos, and they let Shannon Sharp go. He went to the Baltimore Ravens, and they got like the package of tight ends to take care of what he used to do. And in the league nowadays, that's how it is in almost all positions. So Mike Shanahan, it becomes money, productivity. What can I do with all of it? He decided to play 3 different tight ends and spend money doing other things trying to help his defense out.
17-yard pickup, first down at the 46-yard line of the Raiders. Griese throws far side, and it is complete, and that first down yardage. Howard Griffith, I was calling the interception that almost happened but never did.
You know what? It was close, but in the eyes of Brian Griese, watch how close this is. When he lets it go, he knows it's perfect. I know he knows. You just know. And what a catch by Howard Griffith. He made a nice touchdown catch earlier. Again, you're going to play fullback in this offense, you better block well, and you got to have hands to catch the ball out near the sideline just like that.
Linebacker Elijah Alexander had 6 points in his plans. He just didn't get there in time. Anderson wrapped up by Josh Caves as he crossed the 30-yard line. It'll be 2nd and 8.
Now, I watched the game last week, the Broncos against the Atlanta Falcons, and you know, Mike Anderson got 131 yards and went, well, that's pretty good. But I didn't watch the game and go, oh, man, he's special. I thought he did a good job his first start, but I see a difference here today. He's more aggressive. Of course, the experience from last week, he feels more sure about what he's trying to do. and I think he's had a much more productive game against the competition.
Mike Anderson, the ex-Marine, takes the handoff again, and this time across the 20 and down to about the 18-yard line. You know, the funny thing is, it seems that a lot of people can run behind this offensive line of the Denver Broncos. Terrell Davis has done it, Olandis Gary has done it, and Mike Anderson is doing it again.
I like that. Faces in the crowd, and you're right. Being a running back for the Denver Broncos is like in years past, who's quarterback in the 49ers? It's a given. You're going to put up numbers.
Under 5 minutes to play in the third quarter. Broncos on the move. Griese throws, has it batted back into his face. Incomplete. Josh Taves, the man with a hand on that.
You know, Greg, we talk so much about a lot of things today, but the running game for the Broncos, there's the guy, Alex Gibbs. You know, just into it. He's been on the field most of the game. They could throw a flag at him if they wanted to because he's always coaching as he goes along. But Mike Shanahan, when he got the job with the Broncos, who was the first person he called? Alex Gibbs, because if you don't get that offensive line coached well, you have no chance of being a playoff team in this league.
11th play of this drive. Anderson across the 15 to the 13-yard line.
And he's running like he's mad. But that's the other thing. I know it's him and it's his talent, but part of being a running back with the Broncos, all right, they'll give you one cut, but you better pile it up in there. Here we go, Cam. What kind of stories do the umpires go home at night and tell their kids about what they saw today? Some of these collisions and the hitting and running and...
Well, I was scared to death when there was 10 minutes to play. I was scared to death when they were 6.5. Third and 4. Griese needs the 9-yard line for a first down. Rolling right, throws, it is incomplete. Intended for Clark, and Elijah Alexander was there for that one. And Griese now shoving Reagan Upshaw.
Oh, I like it.
Who has a little history.
That's good, Brian Griese. You know, defensive linemen, defensive players, I don't know what it is. They think they can actually intimidate the quarterback. Really, I'm serious. And you know, there's no chance. I don't care what they're going to beat me up with my equipment on. They can't do anything.
Joe Nedney, the ex-Raider, from 32 yards out for the lead. And it's good. First points of this quarter. And it's a Bronco lead by 3. Probably the best rivalry in the AFC West, one of the best in all of football, and it has a way of getting tempers flaring just a little bit. Just hovering above a game with its camera focused on an event, you know you're going to get a unique view overhead. The Goodyear Blimp Eagle. And our thanks for some great pictures today. Rich Gannon back to work on offense. Penalty marker 5. Richie out of the backfield with the reception out to the 28-yard line. It's going to bring it back with a holding call against the Raiders.
Lincoln Kennedy keeps looking at Mike Carey, so I don't know. It takes courage to throw a flag on Lincoln Kennedy when he's standing next to you.
Illegal hands to the face. Offense number 63. 10 yards. Remains first down.
Barrett Robin, the center. So it'll be 1st and 20. And John Gruden has to hope that Rich Gannon has a little magic up his sleeves here in the last 3.5 minutes of the third quarter. Kaufman, 15, and out close to the 20-yard line, so he got halfway to the first down. They got that 10-yard penalty back.
The Raiders have really done a good job here of scouting the Bronco defense because they get it outside, and every time that there's not a defensive back inside the tackle to tackle, they have handed the ball off to Napoleon Kaufman coming up inside. And Bill Romanowski's the only guy there. He cannot tackle Napoleon Kaufman one-on-one, and he picked up 10 yards again that play.
Andre Rison on the field. Gannon, quick drop, throws, incomplete. Tim Brown wants an interference call, and it's not forthcoming. Ray Crockett was there to break it up.
Well, I didn't see it. This looked like a good play. Ray Crockett diagnoses the play. He sees it as a three-step drop. Gets his hands, a little hold, nothing there. Nothing. Good job.
And how many times have we seen that play today or over the years? That's Tim Brown's play, that quick slant.
Well, Tim Brown always hovers about 5 or 6 yards from the line of scrimmage, and most of the time he catches them inside, somewhere between tackle and tackle.
3rd and 10. Gannon gets buried at the 17-yard line.
That time, nobody opened down the field. Tamika Pittman celebrating from the sack, but really good job by Rich Gannon. Don't force it. Receivers were well covered. If he threw it, it would have just been trouble. Could have been an interception.
That's 4 sacks today for the Denver defense. Leckler to kick it away to Deltha O'Neal. O'Neal from the 35, looking for running room. Gets a couple of blocks, directs traffic, and is stood up at the 43-yard line by Calvin Branch. 48-yard punt, 8-yard return. 2:05 to play in the 3rd. Denver by 3. Greg Gumbel, Phil Simms, Arnie Gatayan, and our ace CBS Sports crew here in Oakland. We've had a dandy of a game. 2:05 to play in the 3rd. The Broncos 27-24 over the Raiders. Mike Shanahan, one-time coach here. Griese under the gun, steps up, throws, and overthrows Desmond Clark on the far side of the field. Elijah Alexander administering the pressure. So it'll be 2nd and 10. And we're talking about Mike Shanahan and how it's always an eventful week for him when he comes up against the Raiders. How about the Raiders and the Atlanta Falcons back-to-back when he had his differences, of course, with Dan Reeves when Dan Reeves was coaching Denver.
Yeah, that's right. I think he's coaching with a little bit of emotion these past 2 weeks. And, Greg, we've heard it from the Raiders. They know it. That's why they expect all these surprises from the Broncos.
Quick slant, complete to Rod Smith, and Smith over midfield to about the 46-yard line after a pickup of 11 yards.
That's why, Chuck Bresnahan said, whatever you see on film, whatever tendencies you think you got against Mike Shanahan, they're gone. Because he's going to break out some good stuff, new stuff, and well, it's worked pretty well for him in all the times he's played against the Raiders.
Minute and a half to play here in the 3rd. Anderson to about the 42-yard line, and let's check in once again with Jim Nance in New York. Jim.
All right, Greg, he's from Jackson State University. He was the 1st-round pick this year, and he's in the end zone for the 2nd time today. I'm talking about Sylvester Morris, and the Chiefs have run off 21 unanswered, leading 21-10 mid-3rd. Let's go back to Greg and Phil.
All right, Jim. Elvis Gerbach brought his throwing arm to the stadium today. Under a minute to play here in the 3rd quarter. Griese with time, throws, it is caught by Ed McCaffrey at the 20-yard line once again. The advantages of the big, tall receiver as Griese threw it up high, 23 yards and a 1st down.
That's got to be it. That's why Brian Griese throws this ball. 2 things. He looks down the field. Anthony Dorsett is going to come over, looks like he's going to make a play on it. Brian Griese sees it, throws it hard, makes the receiver stop, and look at Ed McCaffrey. He just goes up and takes it away. That's all it is. He used his size to his advantage, and look, if you're a big receiver, that's what you should do.
Ed McCaffrey, 6 catches, 82 yards, and time is going to wind down on us here in the 3rd quarter. That's the end of 3 with the score Denver 27, Oakland 24. We'll come back after this message and a word from your local station. You are watching the NFL on CBS. A Joe Nedney field goal, the only scoring here in the 2nd half so far as we begin the 4th quarter. Griese throws complete. Rod Smith diving for 1st down and appears to have it at the 10-yard line.
Boy, Rod Smith, I thought he was going to have a huge day after watching the Broncos practice, and he's had a few catches, but, you know, talking to Charles Woodson about Rod Smith, the thing that comes out of you watch him on film, but when you see him in person, he's a big, tall receiver, but he's a little faster and more deceptive in person than you think he is when you watch him on TV or on the film to get ready for a game.
First and goal at the 9-yard line. 2 touchdowns and 2 field goals in the red zone. Pass. Touchdown. Billy Miller. No, and now it is not a touchdown. Billy Miller, number 82.
The exact same play. They threw the play before. And what happens is, watch the defensive back on the outside. They come up to stop the short one. Brian Griese throws over the top of Eric Allen. Ooh, pretty close. I couldn't tell if he gets his feet. Oh, they're down.
I thought they were down.
He has them down.
Griese to throw. That's complete and stopped at about the 6-yard line. Rod Smith with Calvin Branch coming up to make the tackle. It'll be 3rd and goal.
First time we've seen the Broncos spread out with 5 receivers, and they really got the Raiders the first 2 plays. Should have been a touchdown. Now that time, it just shows you this league is incredible. They adjusted on the 3rd play and made it, covered it, and kept it to a short gain.
In the 3rd quarter, the John Mobley interception turned this game around. Instead of Oakland taking its first lead, the Broncos drove for a go-ahead field goal and now look to extend their lead. Anderson brought down at about the 3. Greg Biekert with the tackle.
Well, let's take a look at this one from Camp, trying to catch them by surprise. But the difference is, this play, it's not going to work. The Raiders just have too many people inside. And Greg Biekert, nice job of just seeing, diagnosing the play, and making the tackle.
Nedney signed this week to replace injured Jason Elam. 22 yards. And it's good. 13:07 to play. In regulation, the Bronco lead is 6. 53-yard drive. Nedney caps it with a 22-yard field goal. And this is the kicker held onto by John Gruden till the end of camp. Nedney thought it was unfair to him. Said he can't be happier than coming back and having a chance to kick against his old team. The 25, the 30, and close to the 35-yard line, David Dunn will take a timeout. 12:57 to play in the 4th quarter. Rick Gannon goes back to work on CBS. Double tight end. And Tyrone Wheatley to about the 39-yard line. 5-yard pickup. It'll be 2nd and 5.
Big play. The fact that the Broncos didn't score a touchdown last time, get a field goal, it changes the way the Raiders think. One score, you're ahead. You know you're going to get the football a couple more times, so there's no sense of urgency here. You use your playbook, go back, settle things down, and make the Broncos defense start defending both the run and the pass.
And boy, a 10-point difference compared to a 6-point lead.
That's 4 in my book.
Gannon with time has his man, Tim Brown, out of bounds inside the 45-yard line of the Oakland Raiders, or rather the Denver Broncos. 17-yard gain.
I like it when I see teams in this league block it up. In other words, keep guys in, give a guy like Tim Brown a chance. Now he catches a lot of short ones. Watch, goes down the field, he's covered, but he gets that extra second, creates separation, goes to the outside. Rich Gannon is waiting for him all the way. When he gets open, he makes a nice throw.
92 yards on the day for Tim Brown, who is in motion to the near side. Gannon pulls it down, gonna run. 35, and is hit right at the 35-yard line by safety Eric Brown. You know, we're talking with John Gruden, and John Gruden can absolutely identify with Rich Gannon, the same kind of character, and there's an ex-quarterback out of the University of Dayton. Back in those days, he was a running quarterback, a lot like Rich Gannon. And when we said, Coach, we have some footage of it, he said it's got to be ugly.
Oh no, he looked pretty good.
Yeah, it did.
Hey, had some wheels. He said, I wasn't a very good quarterback, but I just wanted to play it. I think it's because the quarterback's in charge.
On 2nd and 1, Wheatley looking for the first down. John Mobley with the hit.
Yeah, you know, it's interesting, Greg. I even brought up to John Gruden. I said, you know, you and Rich Gannon remind me of kind of the same guy. And he gave us that look. And he goes, yes, a few people have said that about us before, but I think they're both extremely competitive. And you hear, even John Gruden says, I got to be careful what I say to Rich Gannon. Because if I say anything that's wrong, he rips me either on the sideline or he'll come into the next day and go, Coach, you were wrong. I watched the film and I told you. And it's really an interesting way for these two to get along and be coach and quarterback.
Timeout on the field. Let's see. Rich Gannon pointing. Raiders call timeout. Rich Gannon's upset about something, and he's going to come over to the side and talk about it. Back in Oakland, Greg Gumbel, Phil Simms, Armin Katayan, and Rich Gannon was arguing the fact that, you know, they didn't reset that play clock.
And he was right. And Mike Carey realizes the mistake, I think.
And is about to say so.
The officials took extra time getting the chain set. Therefore, Oakland will not be charged with a timeout. First down.
You know what? It's a good call because the Raiders were waiting to get the play and do whatever, and it disrupted their offense. And when you disrupt the offense, then you should not penalize the offensive team.
1st and 10 from the 33-yard line of the Denver Broncos. Gannon throws. Jim Brown had it and dropped it.
Oh, look at the tape on Tim Brown's hands. But that was not an excellent throw by Rich Gannon. The football looks like it gets away from him a little. Watch as it goes out. It looks like, look at the nose. The nose of the football looks like it's trying to go down. Tim Brown has fallen well.
Phil,
hey,
it's not a bad pass.
I stand corrected. It looks much better on replay. But that was slow motion.
You're right. Still too much anesthetic in the body. 2nd and 10.
It's in my eyes.
Gannon, straight drop. Down the middle. It is incomplete. You know, is Rich Gannon zeroing in on Tim Brown as this game wears on? Neither James Jett nor Andre Rison have recorded a reception today.
Well, get it to the guy who can score the touchdowns. That's Tim Brown. Watch this. Rich Gannon, nice throw, throws it over the top. Terrell Buckley, 27, covering Tim Brown. Just gets his fingertips on it. Terrell Buckley, not the tallest defender, but fast, can jump, and not afraid to take a chance to make the play as a defensive back.
Oakland, 3rd down has not been a great down for them today. 3rd and 10.
Oh, nice blocking.
Gannon throws it out here to the side, and it's complete to Randy Jordan. Jordan diving for the first down. Did he get there? It doesn't appear he did. Looks to be about 2 yards shy. Talk about your improvisation in the backfield.
I don't know what to say about that. Terrific physical play by Rich Gannon, but the blocking up front against the blitz. Watch John Ritchie to the left. Stall, you can't quite see it. Steps up, gives Rich Gannon all this extra time, and Gannon finally sees Randy Jordan to the outside.
And they're going to go for it on 4th and of a yard, about a yard and a half. Tyrone Wheatley in the backfield with Ritchie. Brown is in motion, and whistle blows.
Oh, they had him too. They had the Broncos.
False start. Number 80, 5 yards, 4th down.
That's Andre Rison.
They had the shift of the tight end and the movement, the play action fake. John Ritchie was going to be wide open in the flat for a 5 or 6 yard gain.
So onto the field now comes Sebastian Janikowski.
Now those, Greg, real quick, those are mistakes that are hard to tolerate. Movement in a crucial situation.
49-yard field goal attempt off the dirt.
Man, look at the legs on him.
Going to have to curve, and it didn't curve enough. He missed it.
There's a difference here. In the NFL, that football is not as forgiving as it is in college. Doesn't hook back in.
Welcome back to Oakland on the first play from scrimmage. Rich Gannon completes a pass to Ed McCaffrey on first down. And the clock moving. We're under 9 minutes to play here in regulation. Denver with a 30-24 lead. And that's close to a first down. Close enough, we may have a measurement. We will.
Ed McCaffrey, as usual, taking a whooping out there, taking some hits, but 7 catches, big part of the game. And the thing you like about what he does, the Broncos really use the size of their receivers very well in the whole scheme of their offense. As I look at it, you can't tell right there. I'm looking to see, you know, he's always trying to shed something on his uniform to make him faster.
Smoother.
Yeah, smoother. Yeah, I don't know if he can take any more stuff off. Look at those shoulder pads, no pads in his pants.
First down for the Denver Broncos, a yard shy of midfield. Back to the ground game. Anderson bucks it across midfield, a pickup of about 3 on the play. It'll be 2nd and 7. Sebastian Janikowski continues to struggle. He is yet to make a field goal from longer than 24 yards this young season. And this is a young man who is known for his leg strength, kicked a 56-yarder, a school record at Florida State.
Big difference college to the pros. Got to be much more precise. The footballs are not as forgiving. And Joe Nedney, well, he knows it takes a while. Like quarterbacking, I think for these kickers to get used to being to the tighter field goals, to the being more precise and kicking brand new football.
Griese over the middle. Penalty marker flies as Smith makes the reception and goes across the 40 to about the 38-yard line. That's 11 yards, but now let's check the flag. It's against the Raiders.
Well, Desmond Clark, number 88, was acting like he was held out in the right flat. That's where Brian Griese was looking.
Holding. Defense number 58. Penalty is declined. Play results in a first down.
Elijah Alexander, the linebacker.
Well, there he is, Brian Griese throwing the football to Ryan Smith. Yeah, I always like when we go around, Greg, just like the Raiders. They don't say it. They don't even pretend. But teams are going to throw the football to their top players. The Raiders are going to throw it to Tim Brown. The Broncos, they do spread it around between Ed McCaffrey and Rod Smith are going to catch the football.
McCaffrey in motion to give to Anderson. Anderson. Hole on the left side, and there he goes. 15, 10, and down at about the 8-yard line. Anthony Dorsett saved the touchdown.
Boy, just look at Mike Anderson. First off, terrific blocking up front. But Mike Anderson showing a burst this week. Getting up inside, wait, sees the hole, that little cut. Did you see the one move to his left and then go hard? That explains the running game, the running style of the Broncos offensive running backs and their offensive line. Boy, nice cut, and then take it with a purpose and brought down from behind by Dorsett.
131 yards last week, 156 today, and he's looking for more. Stopped at the 7-yard line by Johnny Harris. Let's go down to Armin Katayan. Armin.
You know, Greg, you mentioned Mike Anderson. It's interesting. He never played football in high school. He actually played drum in the high school band. As you mentioned, he went on to the Marines for 4 years where he got involved with first flag football and then full contact football before going to junior college and on to the University of Utah, where he became the oldest player drafted in the draft. And in fact, he'll celebrate his 27th birthday this week. Back to you.
Thanks, Armin.
Well, I'll tell you, Greg, we said it. I can tell a difference in this guy last week to this week. He looks more decisive. He looks quicker.
Anderson inside the 5 to the 3. Harris with the stop.
Now, he can't look any bigger. I know he's getting tired too, because he is wearing out. He's okay. Well, I hope so. I should say that. I thought he was just looking to catch his breath, but he's holding that knee. The Broncos were hoping to come into this game and have Terrell Davis and Mike Anderson share the load. And Mike Shanahan told me on Friday that they would go 50-50. Each would carry the same amount of plays. Let's see what happens. Hits it up in there, gets a little off balance. Couldn't tell. It's the first hit. It's the first hit right here. This is the one.
Johnny Harris. And he is still on the ground.
I couldn't see anything there.
There's Terrell Davis. Has not seen any action today. We're talking with Mike Shanahan, and Mike Shanahan just shaking his head at the number of injuries that his team has seen this young season.
Well, that's a good sign, the fact that he's just up moving. It's like, look at the legs on this guy. You know, you're always looking for comparisons when you see a running back like this. I hope he's okay. It looks like he might be. And the first thing that came to my mind when I watched the tape last week, saw him playing against the Atlanta Falcons, because I didn't know who he was. And it's O.J. Anderson. Just the size, the legs, you know, kind of running straight up and down and just running through people. And that's what it reminds me of. Well, look at that uniform.
He'll sleep well tonight.
Oh.
So the question now is who goes into the game.
Well, that's what I want to know.
Terrell Davis still on the sideline.
Raymond Harris, you know, running back they picked up, he was deactivated before the game.
Let's go down to Armin. Armin.
You know, Greg, Mike Shanahan, when I spoke to him before the game, painted this exact scenario. He said that Mike Anderson would start and that Terrell would not play unless there was an emergency, and that Mike Anderson had gotten hurt. Well, that's what we have right now. We'll see if Terrell goes in. Back to you.
Now, the fact that they take the timeout, I think, well, you can bring Mike Anderson back in since they took a timeout.
You say who else is there on the backfield? Detron Smith, number 42. A week ago, when Alandis Gary went down, they signed Karan Coleman off the developmental squad.
Well, they're going over the play. It's a good job by Mike Shanahan. Call timeout, and whatever you do, you put Detron Smith in there. Make sure he knows what he's doing. That's what. Go over the plays for two reasons. To know where to run if it is a running play, which he knows. I'm not saying that. But just to make sure the certainty, if it's a passing play, who are you going to block if they blitz? Little things like that.
See, the report we get from the sideline is you see Chuck Bresnahan.
Chuck Bresnahan
calling timeout.
He signaled for one.
The word we get from downstairs is that Mike
happened when he had that fumble in the first quarter or the first half where he went to hand it off and it squirted out of his hand trying to fight for the football.
Well, although we are told that James Anderson is fine, or Mike Anderson is fine on the sideline, Detron Smith has entered the game. That's Smith in motion. To the 3-yard line is Howard Griffin.
Broncos taking no chances.
Yeah, on the field comes Joe Nedney, who probably is having a great old time here today.
Oh, it just doesn't get any better for him. 3 for 3. That's 9 points. Extra, you know, all the extra points from the touchdowns. 9 plus 3 is 12.
This will be a 21-yard attempt. And Joe Nedney registers another field goal. Another nail into the Oakland Raider coffin. We shall see. 33-24. Back at sold out Network Associates Coliseum. Joe Nedney ready to kick it away. And once again, David Dunn is at the goal line for the Raiders, who need something to happen here. They've been held scoreless in the second half. Dunn from the 7-yard line. And brought to a stop at the 25. And once again, let's check in to New York. Jim Nance.
Well, Greg, it looks like a star has been born today in Kansas City. Sylvester Morris, for the 3rd time today, hauls in a touchdown from Elvis Gerback. Chiefs in a runaway. Ryan Leafs in the quarterback for San Diego. Has already been picked once. Let's go back now to Greg and Phil.
All right, Jim, thank you. Coming up on 4.5 minutes to play here in Oakland. You see the numbers on Rich Gannon. Gannon with a bullet over the middle. And that's complete to his tight end, Ricky Dudley. Raiders scored all their points in a span of 9 minutes and 48 seconds in the first half. They have registered nothing since the midway point of the second quarter.
And they're in a hurry up. The Raiders need 2 scores, and it doesn't matter which way they come. Field goal first, and a touchdown, or the touchdown first. That's the main thing. Manage the clock if you get the opportunity.
Gannon throws it. It is intercepted. Terrell Buckley to the 40, the 45, and is brought down. And that may put the cap on a big victory of the Denver Broncos on the road. But wait, there's a penalty marker down.
Offense, number 79. Penalty of decline. First down.
The penalty is on Mo Collins. The Broncos will refuse the penalty, and it'll be Denver ball.
Couple things here. You know, Rich Gannon buys the time, good blocking, finally gets a little pressure, waiting for somebody to come open down the field. But watch as he looks down the field. Over here, Bill Romanowski and Ricky Dudley. Gannon knows it's single. Come on, Ricky. Finally throws it, and Ricky Dudley decides to stop instead of coming across the field. I'm not going to say he could have caught this, but look. And then he goes back the other way. If you keep running, at least you knock the ball down. Bill Romanowski wins the battle. Just out-toughed Ricky Dudley that time, and that is the reason why Gannon throws the interception.
Mike Anderson back into the game, and he takes the handoff, and he's close to midfield. The Oakland Raiders didn't turn the ball over once in the first 2 games of this season. They've turned it over 4 times today.
The game is so much about precision. As a quarterback drops back, he knows the route. So that tight end's supposed to come across. You can't decide to do anything different, I don't care what, because he can't read your mind. Look, that's what they're talking about.
Oakland uses its 2nd timeout. Denver has 2 remaining. Oakland 1.
Well, good coverage, pressure on the quarterback, all those things. Playing, you know, in a mode that you've got to make a play and come from behind. That's when you make turnovers.
Meanwhile, as we mentioned earlier, Brian Griese said that he went back and watched both games against the Oakland Raiders last year and said, I couldn't believe some of the things that I did. He may feel better about this one.
Well, he should. You know, again, so many things, little things that Brian Griese does well. Look at this. No intercept, just managing the game, conducting himself the right way.
And Anderson pulls for a first down.
And just conducting himself, making decisions. They're coming easier. He diagnoses things right away. He knows, like, if they're covered. Mike Shanahan said it too. He knows when to run because he knows the type of defenses he can run against. He's not the fastest guy afoot, of course, but all those little things added up with experience and a really good coaching staff, which always helps a quarterback. And the fact that they run the football, it leads us to what we've seen from Brian Griese the first 3 games.
The Raiders have used their 3rd and final timeout. And while we have a moment, let's remind you, get free shipping on all NFL gear. Just click on shop at cbs.sportsline.com. You know, we heard Brian Griese say in Leslie Visser's feature on him and on the NFL Today that he is learning more about his role on the team. And, you know, he added something interesting when he was talking to us. He also said he's learning more about himself and his role in the community as well as a leader.
That all comes about. I tell you, Greg, I think the best thing that happened to Brian Griese is the fact that they went 6-10 last year. Because your team, it needed to kind of fall apart, and now they can look, okay, John Elway's gone. Let's get over it, and let's go back up. And the only way you were going to come back up for the Broncos, and the team members knew it, is for Brian Griese to be a big part of that. And so it just took away a lot of things. He took over a team last year, basically the new guy in, and they're all looking at him going,
Who
are
this?
you? You didn't help us win the 2 Super Bowls. You're not, and we lose, it's got to be your fault because you're the new part in this little machine we got going. So really losing, I think, was a blessing almost for the team and especially for Brian Griese.
Anderson to the 42-yard line of the Oakland Raiders. Tony Bryant makes the tackle. A gain of 6, and the Raiders are out of timeouts. Clock continues to move, 3.5 to play here in the 4th quarter.
And you know, how about this too? It's a little thing, you know, you just don't pay attention. The fact that they set Terrell Davis down today. It's a big game. All these things. Mike Shanahan didn't panic and say, nope, he's got to go. Suck it up, Terrell. Look at this, 415 yards. Their average today, 380.
Anderson again, spinning to the 40-yard line. Lance Johnstone with the tackle.
You know, this Mike Anderson's a nice little, well, he's a different fit from Terrell Davis and Olandis Gary. He's just a bigger, you know, he's just more powerful, you know, just the size alone. Look at that.
You know, question, how can you improve on a 131-yard debut?
He just showed us. That's right. Go for 180.
The exact number of carries he had against Atlanta last week, 31 of them.
My bad, I'm sorry.
There were times he got drafted and he was in training camp going, I'll never carry the ball 50 times in my career in this league. He does it over 60 in 2 games.
Now he's got another carry. And he's got more yardage to about the 32, 31-yard line.
And I'm telling you, Greg, it's late in the game. The defense is tired and the game is over, all those things. But Mike Anderson, so big, coming in there. Defenders do not, they'll turn some hit downs from this guy.
32 carries, 187 yards for the rookie out of Utah. 2-minute warning. Those of you expecting to see 60 Minutes, you're watching the NFL on CBS and the game between the Denver Broncos and the Oakland Raiders. Greg Gumbel along with Phil Simms and Armin Kutsayan. And right now, with 2 minutes to play, the Broncos hold a 33-24 lead. 60 Minutes will be seen in its entirety immediately following this game, except here on the West Coast. Well, you know, John Gruden had great expectations for his Oakland Raiders the way they played the first 2 games, but the Denver Broncos have been relentless today, even when the Raiders came back from a huge early deficit to tie.
I tell you, we watched 2 teams today that react well to adversity and like it a little chaotic, both of them.
Griese on the keeper to the 30-yard line.
You know, Denver can definitely play up-tempo with anybody. We saw that when they played the Rams in St. Louis in the opening game of the year. They're not afraid of that. The Raiders, I don't know, they need a little more controlled atmosphere, I think, to be successful over the long run. Well, the turnovers, that's huge. 4 turnovers. You know, coaches have percentages and all that. If you turn the football over 4 times in the National Football League, your chances of probably winning are about 10%. So the Raiders, really fortunate with all those turnovers to be in the game as long as they were, but that just shows you the playmaking ability they have on both sides of the football.
Griese takes a knee, and John Gruden and the Raiders can't do anything about the clock, which comes up on 1 minute to play here in the game.
And you know, Greg, we've come to a new age in football, I think, too. The St. Louis Rams, their defense, it's at best average, and I'm being kind. The Denver Broncos, they hope they got a good defense, but these are teams we're seeing where teams can win by scoring. It's not the old way. You need a good defense, got to run the football and play good special teams. You can do it by scoring a lot of points and just beating people that way. And Denver is going to be one of those teams.
Hey, what's the difference in this game? How about a bunch of field goals from the ex-Raider, Joe Nedney, says, hey, I'd like nothing better than to come back and beat you, John Gruden. Well, he did that today. 33-24 is going to be the final tally when these 20 seconds grind down. Mike Shanahan and John Gruden meet at midfield. Brian Griese has now engineered 2 straight victories after an opening game loss to the St. Louis Rams. Ed McCaffrey, a terrific day for him. Mike Shanahan, now 10-1 in his coaching career at Denver against the Raiders. Does he feel good about that? You bet he does. Once again, our final score, the Denver Broncos 33, the Oakland Raiders 24, coming up next on CBS, except in the Pacific time zone. Stay tuned for another fascinating 60 minutes. For Phil Simms and Armin Catane and all of us here in Oakland, I'm Greg Gumbel. So long from Oakland, California. You've been watching the NFL on CBS, home of Super Bowl 35.
Fans came dressed in their Sunday